This is Martha Reina Stories, and I'm glad that you always take time to follow up on what we are doing. Feel appreciated. On today's episode, we want to learn a few lessons from her 28-year marriage. Maggie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rena.
I really
It's
appreciate
always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're here because I know many people will learn a lot from your marriage.
Wow, I'll be glad. It's always a pleasure. You're such an inspiration.
Thank
and
you.
Your show has also been able to touch lives. Some of us have also learned a lot also from your story. So my name is Maggie Nyoike. Maggie Nyoike is a pastor, is an entrepreneur, and has a story of 28 years in a toxic relationship, what I call a situationship, because what I say, if it's something which is out of love, not there's no communication, there's no respect, there is no honor, then it is not a relationship.
True.
It is a situationship.
Yeah.
So that is where I am from. I'm a mother of 3, 2 boys and 1 young girl, and I'm grateful and glad to be in this show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So my viewer, Maggie has just come from a 28-year marriage, or as she calls it, situationship. And I would like us to learn, because some of us think that it takes just one day of you just wake up in the morning and you walk out of a marriage. And that's why I'm so happy that you're here, because we will learn a lot and we will get to see, like, it just didn't take one morning for Maggie to just wake up and say, I'm done with this marriage. So I want you to take us back while you're in that decision-making process. What is it that forced you into this marriage? What were the circumstances that got you to that place where you're like, this is it, I'm now married? Please take us back.
I don't know whether to say, Rena, whether I was really decisive on the part of being married.
Yeah.
Because I had not intended to get married that time, because I was hardly 20. I just left Form 4 after. That was after 2 years of living Form 4, because I left school in 93 and I'm getting married in 95.
Okay.
So I was quite young to make that decision. And it just happened that you meet this young man, and then in the middle of meeting this man, there's a situationship too that is pushing you, because I was living with my elder sister and things became rocky with her. And it is because of the same young man, because she did not really appreciate that relationship. There was not even a relationship before she reacted. And I got out of, she asked me to get out of her house if I was to continue with the relationship. And with the foolishness, you say, it's okay. And I moved out of my sister's place, and I'm still going to continue to school. And then in the middle of nowhere, I also lost my job, because I had a job. And after losing the job, I'm in school. This is where I really now have time to really interact with this young man. And within, I think, a very short while, month or 2, then we started moving in. And we moved in. And that's when the journey began. So I don't know whether to call it marriage, because there was nothing like a planned marriage. I would just say that I was head over heels. That is what I got married, because I said, there are people you fall in love with instantly. And there are people, just because maybe of a situation, you learn to fall in love with as you go along. So there's such kind of a difference. So I had not planned.
Okay. So now that is the first red flag. Like, there was no plan.
Yes.
It was not like a decision you make consciously.
No. Like,
I'm ready to get married. This is it.
Sure.
So that was the first big mistake.
Very big mistake.
Yeah. Were there times when you were like, there is danger here? Were there things you began to see before you got married?
Yes, I did, Rena, because I think one of the red flags is that I used to, there's a time, because I was living with my sister in an estate called Buruburu. And there's a time I took this man round. We actually came to visit in the courtyard where we were living in Buruburu. And I remember I had friends, because that is like where my teenage was, or youth. And so I had a lot of friends, male and female. And in Nairobi, hugging is not a big deal. for men and women.
Yeah.
And so there's this young man who came now because we're used to each other, and he came and hugged me. And this guy really overreacted, snapped at him, never even said hi. Then I was like, what is wrong? He does not really appreciate your friends. And that is one of the narcissistic character or a red flag. They will start now isolating you from your friends, and because they don't like your friendships.
And you still felt like, I still have to do this? Because you had no choice?
Really, not even out of choice. I think I was not sharp enough to realize this is going to maybe trickle into the relationship and maybe what we are calling now marriage.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to work adversely against me. Yeah, it's out of lack of knowledge.
Wow.
I would say.
Yeah, true. And then you are still so
maturity.
Naive. Yeah, so young.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. So now you've gotten married. Okay, you've moved in.
Yes.
Let's use that one.
Yes.
You've moved in.
Yes.
How does life begin? Is it like the normal, lovey-dovey? How is it? How is it for you?
I think this love was one-sided because I say love is unconditional. If it really meant love, then things could not have changed swiftly, because the other red flag was that this I noted in 3 months when I got expectant, and this man beat me up. We visited the previous one we did. There is now that deep story.
Yeah.
And by the way, I should have told your viewers my story and full-time story is on my channel, Angelina TV Kenya, where they can watch the full video of my life journey of the toxic relationship of 28 years. The full story is there. Yeah. So I noticed the other red flag, the violence that came with it. Within 3 months, I'm expectant. And somebody says they love you and they beat you up senselessly. So does that really amount to love? So still, I think it's the same level of immaturity and not really knowing yourself and knowing what is wrong and what is right. I think I was still in the same situation. Yeah.
Okay. You're now, it's 3 months.
Yes.
You're already pregnant.
Yes.
Tell me about this. Is it like the pregnancy, have you guys discussed, or it's just how you find yourself?
It just happened.
It just happened.
And then it just happened.
Yeah.
Just leading.
So and even that was not prepared for...
That was not prepared. I was not prepared for motherhood. I'm not even realizing I'm in this marriage at that particular point. So I didn't really know really whether it is really a marriage. There was no discussion. We're going to have this number of children. I see nowadays, people sit down and say, now when we get married, I'm going to have 2, 3 children. This is where I would like us to go to school. There is a vision concerning this marriage.
Sure.
I think now I started calculating my vision within the situationship, but the man had no vision because violence started rocked up within 3 months.
Wow.
Yes.
So how did he change? Now marriage your situationship has started. How does he begin to change, or what is it that you did not know before that you start seeing at this point?
I start seeing the manipulation.
Okay.
That he's controlling everywhere you go. If I want to meet you, Rena, he has to know where I'm meeting you. He has to be there for me to meet you. For me, I think stupidly, I thought that was love, and it's just because he's in love with me, and that's why he's accompanying me everywhere.
Yeah.
I really tell he's monitoring me, and now monitoring my circles, and now also wanting to destroy the same circles, and also wanting to keep you isolated from your circles. So, yeah.
Wow, manipulation.
Manipulation.
And then anger?
There was a lot of anger in it. There was a lot of controlling, total controlling. He used to control from my salary. I'm thinking we are husband and wife. So I'm bringing everything on the table, and I'm thinking he is also bringing everything on the table, and the hypocrisy in it. He wanted so that he can just use everything that was having, every resource, that I remain with nothing. By the end of the month, you have nothing. So he'll plan for you. He'll plan for the shopping that you're going to do in the house to make sure every coin has the least out of your hands. At the end of the day, you still depend on him for bus fare. So I can't move from point A to B because I don't have bus fare. I have to be with him. You understand?
Yeah.
I can't go shopping alone. He has to be there. He has to be there to negotiate. He has to be there to help you make the choice. You really have no choice of your own anymore. So total manipulation and control.
Okay, now you're here. It's now dawning on you like everything is not okay.
It's falling apart.
Tell me about your support systems. Do you have any support systems? Like, do you have people who are following up? How are you doing? And are you able to talk to them as well? Because I know in abusive situations,
Yes.
someone becomes caged up.
Yes.
How is your situation?
My situation was growing from worse to worse, mother, because I did not have that kind of circles. Because I came from school and I'm moving into the job market. And so the people you meet there also are another caliber. So I had no close relations I could call. And this is because I used to keep a lot to myself. I was an introvert. I could not even appear in such a show some while back. So being an introvert, you just keep things to yourself. So whether things are going very wrong, you just keep them to yourself. And hopefully, maybe, and praying, things are going to be better. So I didn't have any support system, as I would say. Because you see, also where now I grew up, my sister also, now we had locked up horns. So there was no way I could go back there. My mama was a bit aged by the time I was getting married. And so I didn't feel like burdening her with my burden. So I used to really keep it to myself. But I used to have a sister who follows me right after me. And we used to share, we used to talk. And I wouldn't say she was not of much help, like to intervene because she was younger than me. So she would just listen to me and go, yeah, and that's it. Nothing more.
Yeah.
I didn't have a pastor like to go to a pastor and report because I didn't know whether that is right or wrong.
Wow.
And I thought, a woman, like in the Kikuyu, we say, motumia nego tumiria. That means a woman must shut their mouth and deal with their own thing. So I was just acting the patriarchal society of a woman and the stereotype kind of a woman, mediocrity.
And a lot of fear. So tell me about your day-to-day. Do you wake up? How is his schedule? How is it? Because is he home all the time? Are you guys going somewhere with him? I know he's controlling everything that you're doing.
Yes.
But how was a typical day now that you're already looking very scared, How was it?
The typical day was we were together every day because we could go to work together and come back together. Weekends, we could go maybe maybe a movie. That was a short while after I delivered. I think I started bringing for the children. Now things became a bit busy. And we used to go out, also take the children out. To the society, it looked a normal relationship. But what is happening behind bars? There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of manipulation, there's a lot of fightings that are happening. But when you see us out there, we're a very good couple. We have children, we have an unbearable family. That is the outfit that we used to put. It's a facade of a marriage, which was not there.
Yeah. Tell me about your intimacy.
I would say it was average, I would say, because, when these things happen, they affect intimacy greatly in couples. Because once you can't trust somebody, and especially because he started also moving out and becoming adulterous, promiscuous in the marriage, now that also puts you off. And it started falling apart quite early enough. I thank God I have children. Maybe I could have remained with no children.
Yeah.
But by and by, this situation seemed like I still got my 3 children.
And the beating continues?
The fighting continued. Actually, this man beat me perpetually, like for 12 years. Before I met a friend at the university, may God bless her. She's in the UK, my very good friend. She's close to me. And my friend, she found me with a black eye. We were doing exams and there was a very hot battle because, again, as I said, I also went to university when I was already married. And so that was also another. Because and the other red flag about a narcissist, they would never want you to progress. They will only want to prohibit and also really pressure you down. You cannot rise to the levels that you're supposed to do. You cannot go to your purpose because they have a purpose for you, which they have already now streamlined and want you to align with it. So my friend saw me the black eye at the university, and she said, so this man beats you. And you know the way we can be conniving. Actually, I had a headgear, the mtandio, on because my face was swollen. And you know, the beating comes with the red eye, the black eye. And because I'm a very bubbly person, she met me, I was feeling very miserable in the library. And I said, she told me, I told her I have some allergies. She told me, don't be stupid. That's what she told me. Don't be stupid. That's stupidity. It's a black eye I can see. Does this man beat you? Because even he used to, you see now this manipulation even in the university. Even though I finished my lessons early, I could not go home, Rena. I had to wait for him to pick me up. We were leaving at 10 o'clock and I finished my class at 7 o'clock because he has to pick me up. Because if you make a mistake, Rena, you have a car and you drop me in the city, you must have been my boyfriend. That is why you were driving around in town. I was not even in class. So to make sure that I seal those loopholes and avoid chaos, I had to really stay on there. Actually, I used to stay at the gate. Even the soldier used to know me at the University of Nairobi, Chirobo campus especially. He used to know me. So he used to tell me, hey, you're done. Oh, get a seat. Just sit with the soldier until he comes and picks me up. Because everybody else has left, either on foot or they have gotten a lift or they're going. Because I could not leave the campus without him. And so my friend, she saw me now this time with the black eye. And she told me, don't be stupid. I know this, you've been beaten. So I started crying. And she said, okay, fine, let's go finish the exam. But right after, let us meet. So we finished the exam and we got into her car. And she said, today, you're not even being picked. I'm driving you to town. Let's go sit down and have some coffee. I said, you don't know what that means. It's going to be very chaotic because I don't know how to explain. She said, I don't care. Even if it's to drive you home, I'll drive you. But I have to drive some sense in you. Why do you allow a whole you to be beaten by a man at this age?
I love that.
Then I said, what can I do? Because the guy was gigantic. He was huge. And I said, what can I do? I felt he could beat me up. I was helpless. I could not answer him back. I could not fight him back. He was like a giant to me, you know. And I was not a David to face my giant. So she told me, you have to fight back. So what have you told your parents? I said, yeah, they've come in through, there was a case. It has happened so much until I'm so tired of the kangaroo courts. Because every time he used to bring this drama, and now I'm not talking to him. He used to now go and call the parents and his relatives to come now and sit around. And I was kind of very tired, Rena, with this kind of atmosphere every other time. There is no way you can sort as adults or issues. The other red flag there, right there, is that they are going to, that way, you think they are resolving an issue. No, they are calling for you, the public domain, to slander your name.
Oh, that's true.
So it's not for reconciliation or for the relationship. It's to set you out there, to set your dirty linen in the public so that people can see you're incapable of a home, so that people can see the kind of character you are, so that you can exude your character in front of people. So it is not in good faith. It is very malicious. And so my friend talked to me and she said, so where have you been? I said, even police have been called because of this violence. And they just arrest him and release him. Parents, they are unable to stop this. My people, I'm like helpless. And she said, some of these things I'll tell you, you have to stop them by yourself. Okay. I said, so how do I do that? He said, for example, somebody started fighting, fight them back.
Really?
Then I'm thinking, this girlfriend of mine wants me dead now.
I know.
You know, and so I didn't know. I didn't figure out how that would happen until one day it happened that he went and slept out, and we had visitors. Actually, my cousins were coming home. We had a chama, you know, a group, a home group, and they were coming home to see me and to visit my home for the first time. And he very interestingly, he slept out that day because I think he didn't want them, and he was part of the team. He didn't want them home, and so he just wanted to create chaos. So he sleeps and comes at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm exiting the gate because we woke up early to prepare food, me and my help, and so I felt I had shortage for beef. So I said, let me top up the beef. So I'm walking out of the gate, and the guy is coming, and he says, good morning. How do you answer good morning to such? So I didn't answer.
Yeah.
And what followed was a very big slap because I did not answer him.
Oh, no.
And that was it. I always say in my videos, there's a point where there's that's it point. Now the things that my friend and other people now were telling me, now the moment came. And we had a big battle. There was a big battle. In the compound, there was big battle. And we fought very seriously. And he went to the cops as usual. He got to the police because he had a habit when he was unable now to contain me and intimidate me.
Did he hurt you?
Yes. It was not a very nice scenario. Yes, I got hurt.
Yeah.
We fought very seriously. And I told him, by the way, from today, you will never touch me. If you touch me, it's going to be something else. So that's for the first time. He actually now was accusing me because they love accusing and acting victims. He said, actually, so you've been pretending all throughout you're born again. So you've been pretending that you cannot talk back to me. So you've been pretending you cannot fight me back. And I said, that's it. And now I vowed, this is the situation right here. And I think that made some sense at some point, however bad it was. But I had to rise up from that nonsense of being beaten up like, it's not even a baby. You can't even beat a baby like that. Or I don't know what it really saw me like. Because the battles were terrible or usually horrible.
Yeah.
Most of the times have notes still today of treatments in hospitals that I visited because of this. The P3s are still there. You can see them. They're alive. He went to the police station. He had me arrested. And I was kept behind bars. Actually, I was arrested. They confiscated my phone. So I could not call anybody. I could not get any help from anybody. And they put me in cell.
Maggie, you get arrested?
Yes.
And where is the other one?
In fact, it became perennial. Like, I think I was arrested more than 3 times or 4 times and put in the cells.
How about him?
No, he could not. Because now he's to rush. He's on his driving. So you drive and make an allegation that he's been assaulted. And there's the most was the malicious damage of his property. And mark you, it's a home we built together. We are co-owners. But apparently it is his property, malicious damage. And so, that he has the upper hand and he had the money to manipulate the systems. And so I would be put behind bars. So 2, 3 days, 4 days. The maxi I've been in the cells is 4 days.
So for 12 years, nobody cares to know for how long this has gone. And who has been the victim all along.
Yeah, actually, his family and especially his mother went ahead and said, anaonewa. What do you call that in English?
It's unfair to him.
So she was in support.
Yeah.
Yet they knew the son had a problem from childhood. His history was chaotic. He was a bully. He was violent. This is his background himself.
So
nothing changes.
You said you were arrested 4 times.
Yes.
And all the 4 times is the same story.
Same story.
He beats you.
Yes.
He triggers you.
Yes.
And then
we fight. And then we run because he has the car and we're gonna report. And that will be assault. And now, like this particular time, the first time he put me in there, I remember after a week, it was hardly a week, I was behind bus park because after looked like it was resolved and he could not now silence me again. I could not bow down the way he wanted me to bend down and everything else. Now, he went back to the police station. And actually, I was released like on a Wednesday, Thursday there. The following week on Friday, we were preparing. My children were very excited. I wanted to take them to the show. They had not been to the Nairobi show. That used to happen in Jamhuri, still happens in Jamhuri. And so I told them I'll take them. So I prepared they were very excited. So they woke up a little bit earlier than me. 5 o'clock, I'm hearing my son calling me, "Mommy, police are calling you." Then I'm arrested again.
Oh.
And I'm being arrested. And that time, because I had left the house help, I don't know what happened when I left. When I was put behind bars, the house help left. So my children had no help. And I'm arrested, and there's no house help. And my children actually were left in the house alone.
So when they arrest you, what do they tell you? Why are we here?
They don't. The first 2 times before I became undermanned, they never used to say why they were arresting me. They just used to come and arrest me, and I'll just follow suit. The third time is when I really reacted, and I said, "If you don't tell me what it is, then you're not moving from here."
Yeah.
And it was very, very serious, very serious. But now is when I started now taking steps also now to also tackle the matter of police, because now he had left a stage now for them to manipulate me.
Yeah.
So I was put behind bars, and that's the time I said no. Then if you be arresting me and be arresting me, now take me to court. I'm not worried. I don't care. Take me to court.
True.
And they took me to court. And the case went on. Then you see the person who is still acting victim, because they know there's no basis in that case, came and withdrew. I think before it went to hearing, came and withdrew. You know, they just want to humiliate you.
Torture.
Now it is torture and humiliation. That is what they want to take you through. Now, because it's done with the torture and humiliation, now he can now withdraw again, so that he can get another grip and I'll put you back again. You understand? And it was like a lifestyle. Now it became like a lifestyle. But I grew now horns. I could not stand the police and address them. I stopped fearing them. I started now asking questions. So if you don't tell me why you're arresting me, don't manhandle me, don't call me to that police station. Actually, there's some who used to call me. They call me, "We're calling you from the DCI. And so we need you to report." So I say, "It's about so and so. How many cases have we done and resolved? I'm not coming, come for me." And so they would wonder, maybe if you are new to the police station, they wonder what is happening. And then, now they'll dig out the story. And then they'll just leave the case like that. But it's only one case that ended up in court, where I told you previously that I was attacked in his office by his mistress. His current wife now attacked me and almost killed me in his office with a knife. So the other times were just you could go to the police station, and after he achieves whatever he wants to achieve, he just leaves there. You understand? Yeah. Although he had a target of maybe manipulating the systems, if there was no justice, just to listen to the cases and see there's no basis, his target was to put me behind bars so that he could take up the biggest trouble was the house, the matrimonial property, the house, and also my children. He was really gambling, because like the first woman he got had no children, so they thought they would be very safe with my children. So the only way to eliminate me was to put me behind bars, which always used to backfire.
For how long did that go on, Maggie?
It went on for years. As I said, you see, the 12 years of somebody beating you up and being in silence, and nothing resolved. So it was many years.
So it ended the day you guys fought, like you hit
It
back.
didn't stop, because now, you see, now the altercations, now it was back and forth. Because long time it was him beating me up. Now he started now fighting.
Okay.
And so now that, I think, also put sense in him, because he knew now any other time we bring chaos, it is going to be very chaotic, and I'm not going to accept it. And we could fight and fight terribly in that house. Yes.
Tell me about your children. This must have been
they were the greatest victims of this. I always look at that journey with a lot of nostalgia and regrets, because I always say, my viewer there, or the viewer of Mother Arena Stories, it's not worth it to let your children grow in a toxic environment, because this tortures their mind, it disorients them. The children are left confused. And this is where you've seen a lot of children now getting into drugs, getting into crisis of self-identity, getting also losing really track of their life because they have no foundation.
Yeah.
And the foundation is very toxic. So they know nothing better. Some of these children also become very toxic in life also. They are intoxicated. So what they can exude when they get into relationships also is the same. And I saw that with my third child, who became very, very violent. Very violent in the house. He was not violent with other children, but in the house, the sister, Maggie, they have a difference of 8 years. And really, my son looked down on the sister terribly. And could be like a leopard, could scratch the sister. And when the sister is, because we're in boarding school, because I took my children a little bit earlier to a boarding school to remove them. When I realized the damage, I had to remove them out of this environment so that nipambane with this situation. So these children were the greatest victims of taking up this kind of things that were happening, throwing of words, fighting, or this kind of thing, and kind of very disrespectful kind of atmosphere.
Now, things like food, shelter, electricity, water bills. Now that you're in a very manipulative situation, especially financially, apart from the physical abuse and all, how was that?
He took up because we used to have work in the same company. At some point, we consolidated ideas and got into a company. And when we joined hands, we said the business grew to a level you could go to China, you could go to Dubai and import things, and the business grew into an empire. And this empire, now this money, Maggie, as I said in the previous videos, the company, it is us who formed the company, me and him. Yet when he went to register, it was a sole proprietorship. So he had the upper hand of having everything. The money could get into our hands, and even me could deposit just in that account because we are building a family, supposedly. So he, as I said, had no freedom to walk even to a market and shop even for fruits or food. He had to walk with me to the supermarkets. He had to walk with me to the market. If you needed clothes, it's him who is going to remove from his wallet to the cashier. Yours is just to carry home. And that was our life.
But he's taking care of the bills,
I already said taking care because this is money we're earning together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is money we're earning together, but he's taken hold of it.
Yeah. So you literally have no control.
No control.
Yeah.
At all.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm learning a lot, Maggie. And I hope our viewers are.
Sure.
Now, I want you to tell us about the in-laws.
Yes.
How was it from... you're going through a very toxic marriage. We know the hand of the father. He was very neutral and always trying to help you out. Tell me about the other in-laws.
I would still revisit about my late dad-in-law because he was a gentleman. The mother, kinda in the beginning, was entertaining to him, and the other people, I think, were in a quagmire. They were not really understanding what is really wrong. Because as I said, I was an introvert. So if I would go visiting their homes, I would never discuss my matters. If I go to their home, I'll never discuss matters with their parents. If I go to my friends, I'm not discussing. So I'm not discussing these matters. It is me and him in these matters, but he used to speak the loudest. So they did not know what to really believe, since I'm not also talking my part of the story. And I remember one sister was very confused, confided in somebody and said, this marriage thing of my brother really confuses us because he talks a lot about the wife and how wrong the wife is, but the wife will never talk anything wrong with this man. So we've always wondered, our brother has a problem because she doesn't talk and she looks, they are chaos, yes, but she's managing. So I would say my sister-in-laws, my brother-in-laws were kind of in a confused mood, and that is their blood. In any case, they have to side with him. But some of them, I would say the family was like torn apart. Some defending me and the cause of my family, and some joining him at some point. And as I said, he married at some point and even paid dowry of another wife, even before this law of polygamy became legal.
Mm.
So it was an illegal thing, but he still did it.
Yeah.
And the parents supported him. But no brother, no sister went to take him for that dowry session because they really did not want to support that kind of a thing.
True.
But the mother and the father at that time supported. The when things grew worse and they could see things are getting worse, they took sides with him. And they understand he's their son. So by the end of the day, but it was very weird because me and my in-laws, except for one, they really interfered with me. We were very close. Actually, people used to say we look alike with our family. So when you see the sister, me and the people used to think we are sisters, like blood sisters. We were friends. We could talk, but not talking about marriage. But we could talk.
Yeah.
We were very free. I loved them because it's a family which I was in for many years. I loved them. I loved the parents, and especially my father-in-law was my good buddy. May soul rest in peace because he rested. The mother also rested the other day. May her soul rest in peace. I'd really, by the time maybe even passing on, I'd really nothing against them because I said there reaches a point where you know you're the only one, Rena, who understands your story.
True.
And to the world, they are confused. They don't know who to believe in. So they are caught up. This is a catch-22. They don't know who to believe and not who to believe. If they can see the son is deteriorating day by day, because even that dowry thing and that woman he married, within a year, it fell apart and he came to hide again in my home. You know, this was his gimmick. Going to marry, it backfires, he comes back, you know, till that time now, which is now he's left. By the way, I never left my matrimonial home, Rena, but what I did, I separated myself. I did a self-removal from this man since my child was young. That child is about 14 now. He just turned 14. Yeah. Yes, the other weekend, I think on Fridays when we celebrated his birthday.
Wow.
And this is a son who I brought with a lot of passion because he's also had the bit of this day. My son cannot even tell you what husband and wife is like. They sleep together or they doesn't know because he's grown up in a family where people are incommunicado.
Yeah.
There's no discussion. There's no talking. And you sleep your way and I sleep my way and that's it. And that's how he's grown into. So we kind of now, I had to do a self-removal because this man who is moving from woman to woman and he's all over. Now your health now becomes a challenge, mentally and also physically. It's a very big risk. Yeah. And so I had to take now caution concerning my own life and knowing that I have children who I'm bringing, I owe them the life as long as God gives me energy. So yeah, I started the self-removal like for many years now. And now he's also on and off home, you know, and from that relationship to this relationship, from this relationship, he sired a lot of children who are not documented. Only maybe in heaven. And those women who he also put in this situation, I sympathize with them because this man would appear like he's very caring, you know, because he has the money and he's controlling everything. So he'll shop for you, he will dress you, he will maybe rent for you an apartment. And so you will think you have it all. I got a man. But the day you get a baby, he's out there and running. And you're left to bring up your own child. So my in-laws, to summarize about my in-laws, we didn't have that much big beef with them. No, I could say we were friends.
And they were confused.
Even today, yes. Yeah. When you look at the whole situation, they are victims also of this situationship because they don't know what is right, who is right. But until now, he started manifesting very seriously that he's marrying even in front of their eyes. And he's bringing this woman to their mother and dumps this one, brings this one to their mother and dumps them. So he starts saying, this is a character. Now he has. And so even if this woman is wrong, then something is wrong with our brother. And so they started also separating now from these stories, little by little. So even if we meet even today, I still say hi to them. I mean, we can have coffee. I really have no beef with them. Even when I started the YouTube channel, I saw some of them reaching out, commenting, and saying, you really worked it out because this must have been we didn't know. It has been very bad. Their children, also my nieces there, from the in-laws and nephews, they have been following me up on TikTok. They follow me on Angelina TV Kenya.
Wow.
And they comment and say, they say, some of them are facing the same situation. They call me for counsel. And I'm glad to help them out.
Yeah.
I really have no beef with the family.
Wow.
Yes.
For these 28 years, Maggie, is there one day you wake up and say, I think I made a mistake?
Yes.
Especially at the beginning, because as time went by, you had already established yourself in so many things.
Yes.
At the beginning, is there a time where you feel like you can walk out?
Yes, I actually thought the first time he beat me up when I was expectant, 3 months after staying with him, I thought of walking out. I actually told him, I think I can even abort this baby because it is no use of you. Because when he was beating me, he's even kicking my tummy. So does he really care about the baby? No. So I said, don't even, a baby, why am I bringing for the baby who you have not, who you don't even care? If you can even kick my tummy and I'm expectant. And that's the first time I felt like I need to do this. And I actually, Rena, at some point I walked out when my son, my first son was about 2-3 years.
Okay.
Went and rented a house. My mother used to live in Kayole then. And I rented a house just in between Komarok and Kayole. And I used to visit my mother, and I told you I was an introvert and not want to see my mother to really know what I was going through. I could go on Sundays, visit her with the grandson, we have fun, and I go back, and she never used to know I was living in the neighborhood.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh,
so
no.
I tried walking out, but my walking out was always met with a lot of manipulation because to come back, because I could use the parents, and because I respected the parents, I could listen and wish this thing away. So I could always come back. So it was like a back and forth, cat and mouse kind of a thing. Until when I decided, when I built a home with him, I said, no, I cannot walk out of this home. Can't keep going and coming. I need to establish myself for the sake of my children. That's why I started now packing. But I had packed and left at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would he get you back?
He could get me back because he could now use the parents. And once they summon me and then we talk about it, I could just go back. The kangaroo courts.
Yeah.
That's how he used to get me back.
Wow.
And then he would act for 1 month or 2 months. He's a good man. He's coming early home. And as I said, we work in the same company. So provision has no problem. He had the money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have so many questions, Maggie, because this is a lesson. This will be a lesson for so many people.
Sure.
Now the children are growing up.
Yes.
Are they beginning to notice things, and are they asking? And how do you explain? How do you explain things to children who have no idea?
My children at that age were also introverts, I would say.
Okay.
And they were also victims of another thing narcissists would do is to blame, is a blame game. And so these are children, but you could speak adult stuff like he's speaking adult stuff to them. Could tell them, your mother is a drunk. Lie. You could say your mother has affairs. You could drive. He used to be very toxic in the manner he drives the car, very rough. So at times when he's speeding, so I could say, can I get off the car? Because I see my life is at risk. And evil it could be met with a lot of course, a force, and there will be a beating when I do that. But I used to do that. I used to step out. Even if whatever happens. So he could go drive very fast home and tell my children, I've left your mama in a club with a man. And so my children were very confused with this kind of information. Remember, they're very young. So they used to get very confused. And at some point, I remember the first time these children started noticing now, the very big gap is when he married. And the first time he walked out and married. And he abandoned them and stopped paying for them, for the bills. Remember, he has the most money. He stopped paying bills. He stopped paying school fees for them. So this is the time they started realizing, now knowing something is terribly wrong. And by the end of the day, our mother is still the one who is holding strings for us. So they could ask, like my daughter could wake up in the night and is calling the name of the daddy. The daddy who was never there to be seen in the night.
That is sad.
So they could question, where did daddy go? Daddy did not come. How come daddy did not come? You can't tell them, you can't tell them that your daddy is with another woman or is in another house. So, But when now they grew up is when they could realize, and they took time. Like my son after he left from 4 is when I think these things sank, and this is the character of the father sank, and they really got very rocky. Their relationship got very rocky. My daughter the same. After she left from 4 is when she started realizing, because he started neglecting them now when he was in the campus. He started neglecting my daughter again when she went also to campus. So this kind of lovey-dovey dad who used to shop for me and pamper me, no longer there. Never even picks your calls.
Yeah.
Switches off even his phone. He's even very rude on the phone. You're not a priority anymore. So this is when they started noticing. My son now, the young one, they don't ask. They also grew up like introverts. They don't ask much questions. But now they'll comment. They start now commenting. Like they could go through his phone and find pictures with him and the other women. And so they could sneak out those photos and forward them to me and say, Mommy, who is this? You know, such kind of questions, you know, because they don't understand. They could be taken out and they're being taken out with other women. So they come and say, we went out, there was so-and-so, auntie so-and-so. This auntie has a baby, they're called so-and-so, you know. A lot of this, and a lot of it is information, by the way, you know about the man. You will know them through children. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Because they expose children to very wrong environments, yes.
28 years.
Yes.
Mentally, Maggie.
Same thing.
Psychologically,
yes.
emotionally.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I would say
towards the end.
Towards the end, I think the way they say the beginning of the matter, the end of a matter is what really matters.
Yeah.
Because I reached a level where I realized you can never change a grown-up man. And I realized it's not satanic. You know, women go to keep on praying for their cheating husbands or wayward husbands. And they pray for them to change. I want to tell you, you cannot change. Somebody who has already made a decision. You'll be on the highway standing and telling them they're about to crash, but they're busy putting on the accelerator to crash. And if you stop on their way, you also crash with them. So I realized we are on a highway and this guy has decided to destroy the family. Actually, now I realized he had no vision for the family. So there's no family here. So, and on this highway, I have children I'm carrying along. So I have to really think of how to secure these children.
True.
And so I said, now I'll have to now escape through another route. You be on the highway, crash as much as you can, as I'm busy taking care of the business for my children and now for my future. And I think that was the point I gave up on that marriage and really separated myself physically from him. No intimacy, no nothing from him, because I realized I'm in very great danger. Anything could happen to me physically, my health. I realized also he used to keep a sword in the bedroom. So I could clean up, and under the carpet there's a sword. So I removed the first sword. Again, under the bed, there was another sword. And I went to the police station and I said, I want help. I need help. And so all these things are happening, not because I'm not seeking for help. I'm seeking for help. But there's no help coming. I'm doing my best.
True. But you're alone.
And I'm telling you, the government should do something about these systems. And especially domestic violence should be taken as a very heinous crime. Because why these cases never go for arena is because the systems are faulty, kinda. I found them faulty myself. Because somebody is going to beat you up in the house. And they have maimed you. And then when you go to the police station to report for assault, they will, first and foremost, even they will send you now to a hospital. Maybe you don't even have money. Then go to hospitals like Nairobi Women that have taken care of the victims. I visited that hospital severally. My record is there. That they treat you, they listen to your case, they get you a counselor, they calm you down, they treat you, give you a P3, they're ready to stand with you in court. If the case succeeds or meets the threshold, they're able to take you. But now, when you take the P3 back again to the police station, they will say now, now you've reported, especially if they have to arrest, they say, you know, we cannot move out of the police station. The vehicle has no fuel. Like you already paid tax as a Kenyan, but you have to fuel the cars to make an arrest. You are the victim. You had nothing probably. Even sometimes you're beaten, you run out of that house.
True.
So you don't even have money on you. Thank God now we have M-Pesa. Can ask me, send me 500, maybe to fuel the policeman's car to go and make an arrest. Very ridiculous system. And so if you don't have, they don't go. And they'll say also they demand for lunch from you. So if you have no money, then they'll tell you now, give me the number of the person, the aggressor.
Imagine. Once
they get the number, they will call the aggressor. The aggressor will show up in a car. The aggressor has money. They will be bright. That case will go nowhere.
That's true.
They'll now start watering down the case and asking you, so we want now, the next thing is witness. Right now, you are two in the house. The children are out. Who is there as a witness?
You're the only witness.
They also say children who are underage cannot witness. There is an age which cannot witness. So there are a lot of people who are dying in those toxic relationships, not because they have not sought help from the government, but the systems are faulty. Because the two of us have fought, the P3 should be my witness that have been hurt. I can identify the victim, but you keep asking me for a witness. Am I going to uproot the walls? How many people have the CCTV footage that they can bring maybe to the police station? And so now this is actually what makes these aggressors now become even more powerful. Because where are you taking them? They have no help. There's no help. They have the money. They have the system in hand.
True.
So there's nothing you're going to do.
True. Wow.
So the 28 years is on and off. The police station, the courts. But in cases, to an extent of the man becoming so violent until now he connives and even sells your own matrimonial property behind your back. And the house is auctioned when you're inside the house with the children and expectant. And you have to figure out, would I move out of the home and allow this to happen? I lose the home and the children have nowhere to stay. And I said to go to court even when I'm heavily expectant to fight for their matrimonial the home back. I've been through the corridors of power, of courts. You know, I think maybe I should have become a lawyer. Maybe that was my profession. I don't know whether I lost it. Because I now understand the matters of law very, very well. I'm not easily manipulated in courts or matters of law. Because I can stand in for myself. There are cases which I did with the lawyer, and there are cases I've stood and won against him. Yet he's the one who has taken me to court. So it came with a loss of business, which was removed out of my hands, now into the woman's hands, and you lose but for the home, I decided to fight for it, and by God's grace, I got it back.
Yeah.
But how would you do? Imagine a victim who has no single coin of their own, and how do you even start? Because even the same systems to file a case, you need still money to file a case.
True.
So a lot of people have lost, totally.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing.
Yeah.
They have nobody to come through for them. Nobody understands their case. So it's kind of very pathetic.
Yeah.
28 years of a toxic relationship or situationship.
So my viewer, you can see it's not just waking up one day and just walking out. Financial abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse,
yes,
manipulation, name it, everything.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything. I say whatever, women have fears or men have fears, but whatever a woman feared to happen to them in a relationship, it happened to me. I fear nothing anymore. I'm not the kind who say marriage is a scam. Marriage is a beautiful thing with the right partner, because the right partner right there is the biggest mistake somebody can do. Not choosing your partner wisely will land in very big problems. And it is very good to be cautious, even when you're looking out for love, to see what kind of character that is, that you take time to know them. What you can help, you can help. What you cannot deal with, I say women are not a rehabilitation center for badly raised men.
Yeah.
So that we can make them now the men they're supposed to be. everybody must carry their own cross. So to answer your question, yes, I would love again. And I think the more than 10 years that I did a self-removal was it is a very my story is very weird because I healed in an environment. I started like healing myself through God's grace. Through God's grace.
Yeah.
So that even I know there are people, there are neighbors, by the way, who have watched my story, YouTube story, because they didn't know maybe some of these things. So they, it pops up TikTok, or then they follow up. And so I'm saying, I didn't know you're going through this. You don't look it, because I decided to like block and give it a blackout. I gave the man a blackout, and I said, it's my children and I and God. And so now I'm calculating myself to be safe. And I'm also now calculating myself also to earn for my life and my children and plan for my future.
Yeah.
Even in this toxicity, the other thing I did, now when there are altercations and we settle scores like this, I stopped now allowing it to happen.
Oh.
One of the things to win a narcissist, also snatch the power that they use. If there's violence, they use. Also now go the other way of peace, even if you're not really cohesive. But shut your mouth. That's it. There's no it becomes incommunicado. So where we have no exchange of words. So where are you going to get me from? Because that is the catch where these altercations and fights are beginning. So I learned to shut my mouth.
Yeah.
And let you be. I don't care what you really say. It doesn't matter what you really talk. It doesn't matter what you really do. And that's it. So I started living in a world within a world and healed myself through God's grace. So I have no really traumas like I'm still bitter. No, I'm not bitter. He's the one who is a drama king. I think I have no problem even saying hello if we meet on the highway, but nothing beyond that. But the problem is if you allow this kind of allowance of cohesion just for the sake of maybe bringing up the children, now he'll encroach the boundary, and now he wants people back and force things back, which you have to really put up strong boundary. You see, now if that's the case, now you stay away because you're already the animosity that comes with it, and the conniving and the conspiring. It cannot be allowed in my boundaries. So for that matter, now I opted to withdraw myself from those altercations, keep quiet, watch you, do as you please. I don't really care. And that's it. And I manage my own business within a business. I found my own business, as in I built another business, left the business for him and the other woman. Started off doing my own things now, doing my own things my way. I could no longer ask for clothes because I could afford my clothes. I could not ask for my children to dress them. I could go to the market now and do dressing for my children. If I wanted to something in the house, I could buy for myself. And by the way, it was very chaotic because if you buy, even if it's a plate, he's this kind of who inspects the house. So he find a plate which is new, and he says it is those men boyfriends who have bought you. You have no brain to buy yourself. And so if you do now this kind of things I'll do without showing off, like you can't bring them to the light. So at times maybe you just sit and say, this is when? But they've been there in the house because now the moment you announce, it is chaotic. So I started building my life within this system, and God helped me. So I healed within a toxic environment, letting to be toxic, but I chose the peaceful way.
So you got your power.
So for me, my heart is ready to love.
I'm so proud of you.
My heart is ready to love.
Yeah.
But I'm very keen on who gets around my heart. Because my heart cannot allow people to be coming in my heart and squeezing it.
True.
It is my heart. I really have to. Even the Bible says, God is your heart. For there are 40 springs there, issues of life. Yeah. So my life is in my heart. So I really take care of my heart. And so whoever is potential out there, they've had the bare minimums of at least no toxicity. I don't think I have that space for toxicity again.
Yeah.
I cannot tolerate it. And now that I know, I cannot allow it in my life again. So somebody has to be there, loving enough and respectful enough, because there's no anybody who does not respect you And anybody who does not have time for you, anybody who goes behind your back and really want to tear you down, that cannot make a life partner. You really have to up your game when you're really thinking again of dating or getting married again. But if that comes, that way is open now for me to move on. My heart is ready.
Wow,
Yes.
what a story, Maggie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have learned a lot from your story. And the fact that you have healed in the very environment that broke you.
Yes.
That is power right there. You're a powerful woman.
Thank you.
You are a strong woman, because not many people can manage to do that.
I know.
And that only shows that the drive in you is quite strong and quite amazing. We celebrate her today. Please share your YouTube handles. I know people who would want to know more about your story. And of course, new subscribers, new friends. Please share your YouTube handles.
Thank you very much, Rena. Our viewers, thank you very much for staying in tuned. Thank you for the support that you've offered, Rena. And thank you for the support that we are going to offer each other here. It's always a pleasure being here. And as I said, I have a YouTube channel, Angelina TV Kenya, where we say it as it is without prejudice. That is my motto, to get one more person out of the dark room into the marvelous light, and more so, the marvelous light of Christ. My TikTok handle is still Angelina TV Kenya, Maggie Nyoike on FB. So kindly go there to my YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch my full story. I'm still narrating. 28 years is a long journey.
It's a long journey.
So I'm still narrating my journey in bits as God helps me. So that, and I am very much encouraged, because a lot of people are healing and they're reaching out for help. A lot of people are saying, you're saying my story where I could not say my story. And I thank God that He's made me a billboard where you can be able to read, where you can be able to get encouraged. I say, never end up your life, never lose up hope, because you have a life purpose. And everybody was created with a purpose. And your purpose is not in that man, but it can be within that man, if it is the right person. I say marriage works. It's a beautiful, and institution should be respected. And for those who encroach marriages and want to really tear them down so that they can get those husbands or they get those wives, I can tell you as a warning, your day is coming when you're going to cry tears, buckets of tears, because the red flags you're seeing, because already you're seeing the red flags. Those are the things that I ignored and let them be for 28 years. They're going to amount together, as I say, embroidered together and become a red duvet, and you're going to cry out. That red duvet may become your handkerchief where you're going to squeeze the very many tears that you're going to cry. So go there to my YouTube channel, Angelina TV Kenya. My number is 0722 326422. 0722 326422. You can reach out for advice, for counsel, or for otherwise. And let us keep it respectful on that dial. And let us catch up, subscribe, and put the notification bell. Whenever we upload a video, you're able to be notified. Comment, like, and share my videos. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you.
Thank you so much, my viewer. This has been Maggie Nyoike. If you've not learned something from her story, I think you need to just go and listen over and over again, especially from her channel, and you will get to understand it in bits and in pieces. Thank you for watching this episode. As always, this is Martha. Please remember to subscribe so that you'll be in the know when we have a new episode. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you so much, Rena.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next episode. It's a goodbye for now.
Shalom.
Shalom.